can I quickly ask a question on this? So that's like an intraday trade. If we would say looking at a portfolio over a 1 week period, so on a Friday close we held 10 assets, and then the next Friday close we held 11 assets. Mm-hmm. One of those assets was bought on a Wednesday, or security, sorry. One of those was bought on a Wednesday. We'd have basically the same issue, that the starting weight for that purchased security would be 0 at the Friday close prior, and it would be of value at the current Friday close. Is that where we'd be looking to effectively do a daily contribution and geometrically link those together?
You could do it that way. One of the most sensible ways I've seen to handle that situation is actually built into return system, into a system by Eagle. If basically that expression that calculates the return of a security, it's basically what the dollar P&L is divided by some sort of valuation number. Now, if you just got into a position from a 0 to a positive holding, then that number that you divide by is the number at the end of the interval. If you're selling out a security from a non-zero holding to a 0 holding, the number you divide by is the position at the start of the interval. It's maybe a little bit inconsistent, but it does seem to work quite well.
Yeah, okay, because that's similar to how I see ports using P&L returns in there to generate some of their numbers as well.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, you can do all the stuff, all the attribution stuff I'm talking about in terms of actual dollar P&L, but it makes it hard to compare with from one portfolio to another. I mean, I'd far rather work with return, because it's a dimensionless way of measuring the value that you've actually added. Yeah, I mean, there's lots, we could talk about this sort of stuff all day, but I'm not sure exactly what you want to hear. But I'm measuring this because it's just a useful background to the sorts of attribution issues that we're looking at. In fact, I've just been talking to an Australian fund manager who uses a vast amount of leverage in one of their fixed income portfolios and buys 10,000 futures at a time just to get this kind of effect, because they want the risk of their fixed income portfolio to approximate the risk of an equity portfolio, so the one can counteract the other. And in fact, it seems a little unconventional, but it works extremely well for them. They've come out extremely well out of the recent market crash. But you do need ways to measure things like what is the leverage of a portfolio, and that has to feed through into the performance and attribution. And of course, if you've seen Pride and Prejudice, you'll remember Mr Darcy had his famous £10,000 a year. Now, almost certainly his money was invested in bonds that paid a 4% coupon. They were called coupon. These bonds were called Consuls. They were issued by the British government, and they were where most rich people put all their money. So, quick quiz: if Consuls were paying 4% at the time, and he was making 10,000 a year, how much money did he actually have?
250k.
Yes, exactly. So you should never ask a gentleman his salary, but you know how much Mr Darcy had. A few years ago, I wrote some bond pricing software for a bank in Queensland, and I ran lots and lots of checks, and I thought, okay, this seems to be fine. And it ran fine for about 3 months, and then one day I got a phone call saying, Andrew, there's a bug in your software. We're not getting the right price. So I went in and had a look at the pricing ticket. And it turned out that when a bond reaches the last 6 months of its life, it stops being, instead of being priced with 3 decimal places, it has to be priced out to 9 decimal places. Now, again, you might think this doesn't matter, but the bank had a holding of about $80 million of the security. And as a result, the last decimal point, the last single cent in the price was out by 1 compared to what the bank's counterparty said it should be. And that's a level of accuracy that you have to get. I mean, it was an easy fix, but when you're actually buying and selling between banks, you have to agree on exactly the same price, down to the cent. And that's why these formulae are, in fact, so detailed.